Jim Polzine, our friend from the Wisconsin State Journal, posted a tweet that said that Barry Alvarez wasn't dead. And I said, what? Joining us now, not from the great beyond, but to confirm that he's still with us, it is Barry Alvarez on Wilde Tausch. Barry, good morning. Thanks for still joining us.
Yeah, well, especially good to be with you today.
So, Coach, can you explain how this all happened and how many people reached out to you over the last 24 hours to check in?
Well, I have no idea how it happened, but yesterday afternoon, a call or text from Chris McIntosh. I think he wanted to check and see if I'd answer, and he calls and I answer. He said, "Boy, am I glad to hear your voice." And he explained that it's online or on Twitter that you're dead. I said, "No, not as far as I know, Mackie. We're okay here." So I don't know. I guess a former Ohio State player heard it and put it out there for some reason.
In fairness to the former Ohio State player, by the way, Matt Finkes, he was sad to hear that you had passed away. Like, he said you were one of the greats, and he was at least complimentary in sharing this inaccurate information.
You know what? That's what my daughter said. At least Dad, people said nice things.
Exactly. He apologized later, so we appreciate that. So so we can all feel better, you are 77 years old now. How is your health?
I am.
How are you feeling today? And have you had a hip replaced lately or anything else that we need to know about, that we need to monitor to keep a legend on our radar?
I just nursed my wife through a hip replacement. I just literally walked into my cabana down here in Florida. It's probably 83 or 4, and I just did about a 3.5-mile walk.
Yes, sir.
Good. We're glad you're doing well. Tausch, did you have any other questions for Barry?
No,
or now
I'm just
that we've
happy
confirmed
to
he's
hear,
alive?
and I wanted to make sure. We had a lot of people that were asking, is he healthy? And we knew that it was a rumor, but anytime we get a chance to talk football with Coach Barry Alvarez, I'm excited about it. And, Coach, what did you make of Nick Saban's comments and kind of you're starting to see, we saw the Packers defensive coordinator who was a head coach. In your day, you would have never seen a head coach in a big-time college football program leave to go to be a defensive coordinator. What do you make of kind of how all this is shaken out? Nick Saban was very adamant that he would have loved to have kept coaching, but the way things are going, he is not enjoying it. How do you see the whole landscape of where you're at?
It's out of control and unsustainable. The paying of the players. It's supposed to be illegal to use the coaches to use cash to endorse or to encourage players or recruit players, but that's exactly what's happening. And I just read the other day a coach said, one of the coaches that resigned said, it just got too much. I'm trying to raise money for a kid who hasn't played yet. He's going to make more money than me. And it's just it's got out of control, unsustainable. It's going to screw up college football. It's going to ruin college football as we know it.
Ooh. So if you've been in these roles with being on the college football playoff committee and everything else, they put you as the czar. How are you fixing this tomorrow?
Well, I think you want to see what teams want to play. You get a group of guys that know football, former coaches, and see, from each league, and see what direction they want to go. I think I don't mind stipends for players, paying players with limits, and I know that there are a lot of legal ramifications when you go that route, but I think that horse is out of the barn. But get a group that want to play big-time college football, that afford it, and can agree upon the same rules, and then have someone that's there running this group that will enforce the rules they put in place. And, I'd hate to lose big-time college football, but you've got your haves, your have-nots. You got some that can't do it, some that can, some that are out raising money, pay players. It's just not sustainable, and I just see the whole thing blowing up unless we have some drastic changes soon.
Yeah, and if you blow it up, is it more like you almost start focusing football only, and you have it almost like the NFL where it's the big boy leagues, and you have ESPN and Fox kind of determining matchups? Is that something that could happen, or when you start dealing with the Title IXs and all of the other sports?
Yeah.
Because football is driven all of this, and now you're in a position where USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington are in the Big Ten, so geography's not really in play. Can you just break football away from everything?
Well, that suggestion has come up many times over the years. Title IX comes into play. I don't know if you restructure things, if you can break let's say football. Well, just football. Football's paying the bills. I don't know if you can do that. I know the threat was the universities would lose their federal funding. You have federal guidelines as far as opportunities for females. And, the one solution was break football away. Then your numbers would balance. The rest of the men's sports would balance. And the federal government wouldn't allow the NC2A to do that.
Talking with very much alive Barry Alvarez on Wilde and Tausch. All right, so two things before we let you go, Coach. One, I always say about college football because, I love college football. It's one of my favorite things. If I'm going to watch something as a fan, it's that. I always keep saying I want people that are smarter than me to figure that out. You would be one of those people. So let me ask you this. What if we took a page out of the NFL's playbook and you had actual windows, right? A window for quote-unquote free agency, which would be when the transfer portal would be open. An actual quote-unquote salary cap that would limit the NIL money that could be dispersed. Would that be a way to get this under control?
I think that's a start towards having a solution. I think moving towards the NFL model is a solution. I think I read where Nick Saban, who's been in the NFL, said that had to be a solution. That type of plan could be a solution for a start.
And then my second question is, Jeff Hafley talking about one of the drawbacks of coaching in college as he took the Packers defensive coordinator job was that you basically had to re-recruit the players you already had on your team. How far into Tausch's career would he have had to have gotten for you to feel like you needed to re-recruit him?
I couldn't get rid of him.
That's true. That's true.
I'm
the opposite of everything that's going on right now.
That's right. No, I'll be honest with you. And I said to Big Ten coaches when we started talking about transfer, the open rules for transfer, I said, you know what, guys, I got to tell you, you've recruited these players. You've been in their home. You've met their parents. You see what type of parents they have. Are they helicopter parents? Do they baby the kids? Are the kids, the kids have respect to their parents? All those things. And you bring them on campus. If you can't build a relationship with that player and treat them well enough where they don't want to play for you or they don't want to disappoint you, that's on you. So if you're losing players, you need to take a look at yourself. Now, that may be oversimplified, but I believe that. I know times were different, but we try to move. I try to have players at the end of their fourth year season. The guys that weren't on the field, you need that scholarship. You got to keep replenishing your roster. So I'd bring them in. If they weren't playing, I'd say, listen, I promise you we'll do everything to get your degree. I said that when we recruited you, and we're going to do that. I'm going to pay for your second semester. I'm going to pay for your summer school. I'll pay for next year and the summer school, and you've got to graduate. And we'll have a plan for you to graduate. I'm not bringing you back your 5th year. You've got to graduate with the next 2 extra summers, and that's how you matriculate your roster, or people through your roster.
And then you go to the Kentucky Derby and find out that you've got a right tackle who's still got eligibility left.
But it's still going to play. Yeah, they still like to play. That was the best we ever had.
Oh man,
he is. We're lucky to. We're all lucky to have him, and we're lucky to have you, Barry. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm so glad you're still alive, and it gave us an excuse to talk to you. So it's a win for everyone.
oh my God.
Okay, boys. Always a pleasure. Even more.
That is Wisconsin legend and briefly on social media, no longer with us, but definitely very much with us, Barry Alvarez.